I am super excited to show you what I have today, which is this, the Canon 16-35 f4 lens with image stabilization. Now this is a big deal for me because even though I use a lot of really nice camera equipment and lenses through my job as a high school digital media teacher, I don't actually buy a lot of new lenses for myself at all. In fact, for the last 4 years, I've been using just 2 lenses. The Canon 24-105L lens, which I actually bought used, and the Canon 35mm f2 lens with image stabilization, which is actually what I'm using to film this video right now. They're really great lenses for when I am behind the camera. But over the last 8 months that I've been working on creating a YouTube channel, I've had to be in front of the camera a lot more. That's where the 16-35mm came in. Now back in 2007, when I bought my first DSLR, I found myself very quickly after with a whole collection of kind of cheap lenses that sort of did a little bit of everything, and I was constantly bringing them and changing them, and it just wasn't great. So several years ago, I got rid of everything, and I said to myself that if I'm going to buy any new lenses, they would need to serve a real purpose that's gonna enhance the quality of my photos and my videos, and they needed to be of a high quality, no more cheap discount lenses. So I looked at a bunch of lenses from Canon and Sigma because other than Canon, Sigma's about the only manufacturer that I really trust. I did a whole review on the Canon versus Sigma 70-200s, which I'll link to right here. And while Sigma had a few options that were really interesting, like their brand new 14-24 2.8 lens and their 20mm 1.4 lens, I didn't really think there were any options that were exactly what I needed right now. So I landed on Canon's 16-35. Now, where things get tricky is that Canon actually has 3 16-35mm lenses. They offer the 16-35 f4, the 16-35 2.8 version 2, and the 16-35 2.8 version 3. So there are 3 different lenses that cover the same focal lengths. Now the differences between them, the f4 lens costs about $1,000, the 2.8 version 2 costs about $1,500, and the 2.8 version 3 costs about $2,000. So they range quite a bit in price even though it's the exact same focal length. Now I do know that the 2.8 version 2 is an older lens, so Canon is slowly starting to phase it out and replace it with the version 3. The 2.8 version 3 is basically regarded as one of the highest quality lenses that Canon makes. It's super sharp, super well built, super durable, and it has a super price to go along with it. The 16-35 f4 also gets really good ratings and reviews. The difference is that it's an f4 lens, and then the version 3 is a 2.8 lens. Now, the f4 is the only lens that has image stabilization. The other 2 don't have it, the version 2 and the version 3. And really, when you're dealing with an ultra-wide lens, especially on a full-frame camera, image stabilization might not be super necessary because the camera shake just isn't going to be as obvious since the image is so wide. But since I do a lot of video, I wanted to make sure that I had image stabilization just so it would improve the overall quality of my videos. I also wanted to get into landscape photography, which requires longer shutter speeds a lot of the time, and image stabilization could just be something that can help with that, especially if I don't have a full-on tripod setup, if I'm just using a monopod or even handheld. So I landed on the f4 with image stabilization. And in the little bit that I've used it so far, this lens really does seem fantastic. The build quality is excellent. It's very similar in size and build to the 24-105. The rings, the zoom ring and the focus ring are really, really big, really grippy, really, really smooth. It's very easy to use for video. I've been very shocked at how fast the autofocus is and how quiet the autofocus is on this lens. And of course, the image stabilizer really does help just keep everything nice and smooth. Now, one of the other reasons that I really did want to lean towards the 2.8 version of this lens is that I wanted shallow depth of field. Like right now I'm shooting at 3.2, the background behind me has a bit of a blur to it. This lens only goes to f4, and I was a little bit nervous because I really wanted a wide lens that had shallow depth of field. But truthfully, especially at 16mm, it's quite difficult to notice shallow depth of field in a way that would be different from this lens. Now, one question you might be asking is, if this is 16-35 and this is 24-105, they kind of overlap. So why not just put this lens that I already have at 24mm and be good to go? It will be pretty wide on a full frame camera. And that's true. Let me show you what 24mm on a full frame camera would look like. Okay, so I've taken off the 35mm lens that I was filming with, and now the 24-105 is on the camera, set to 24, its widest focal length. You can definitely see a difference. You can see the microphone, you can see the mic stand. The problem is, sometimes it's just not wide enough. So this is 24, And this is 16 millimeters. It is significantly wider than 24 millimeters, so much so that you can see a lot of the room around me that normally in my regular shot I don't show. But I love the way that this looks. Not necessarily indoors in this studio environment where I film most of my videos, but out in the world. Now, it's been a while since I've had a really cinematic B-roll sequence in one of my videos, and I really want to test out this 16 to 35 millimeter f4 lens and see what it can do. So I can think of no better way to do that than to go film a really beautiful cinematic B-roll sequence. Let's go. There you go. All those shots, obviously, except for the drone shots, were done with the 16 to 35. So far, I am really liking this lens. The ability to go wide when you think, I can't possibly go any wider. The ability to get wide shots that otherwise just wouldn't be possible and look so awesome, especially on a full frame camera like the 6D Mark II. It's just awesome. So far, this lens gets 2 big thumbs up for me. I won't give you thumbs up because it's freezing and I don't want my thumbs to freeze.